So my first question is basically two questions. It's such a beautiful, wonderful, strange fable. How was it made? And it was such a beautiful, wonderful, strange fable. How were you not allowed to make another film after it? How is this the only one?
Well, let's see. Well, first of all, it was an abject failure. That's the answer to your second question right there. Okay, the first question is a little more complicated, except that the impetus for making a vampire film in the early 70s was the fact that the Count Yorga films had come out, and they were doing very well. And we thought that we could get investors interested if we were doing a low-budget vampire film ourselves. As a matter of fact, I would like to introduce the producer and co-writer of the film, Bob Fern. Please just stand up. There he is. And we were recent UCLA grads and, from the film school, and we wanted to get on board and make films. And at that time, that was something that looked like a commercial, viable project. So that's what we did. Now, as to how we chose. You mean the story itself and the odd, fabulistic stuff in it and everything?
All of that.
That kind of stuff. Well, the large part was, I was pretty steeped into horror literature. I read a lot of it. H.P. Lovecraft, Arthur Machen. There was, I don't know. I mean, this movie, there's certainly, for people that know that stuff, they can pick up on the things. And when this movie was first came out, there was a review of it in the Positif, the French magazine, and I was completely, the British expression, gobsmacked, because they got all the references. They said, oh, this was from this, and then you read The White People by Arthur Machen, he did all this stuff, and it's all in, and whoever that reviewer was just picked it all up. So I thought I was hiding my, influences, but I wasn't at all. And I still didn't, and even today when I can see it, I can spot stuff that I caught from someplace that I didn't know I did, So.
It's such a beautiful, artistic horror film. How did it play when it was a drive-in kind of audience?
Yeah, it didn't get a lot of, it didn't get a lot of release. It was on like Bottom Bill, a lot of stuff, and drive-ins, and talking about the art part of it. My favorite description of the movie actually was the Village Voice when they were shown at Lincoln Center in the revival, and the Village Voice did a review on it, and the reviewer called it artsploitation. And I thought that was pretty good, because what happened with this film, of course, is it fell between the cracks, because it didn't have enough blood and gore and action in it to be real exploitation. On the other hand, it certainly didn't have enough, well, whatever it would take to make it an art film, or what was called an art film at that time. So it was neither fish nor fowl, really.
And both the actresses, I guess, they both just recently passed as well.
Yes, unfortunately, Leslie passed away this past year, and Cheryl sometime before. Yeah.
They're absolutely amazing in this film. They have such a starkness and subtlety to them that they really carry the film, where you got like High Pike and everyone, these great giant characters around them.
Right. High Pike doing his eye rolls and stuff. Yeah, and then Cheryl doing the complete underacting type of log roll thing. And she had that anyway. I mean, she knew somehow instinctively. I was just so lucky to get her, because basically she's in most every shot, and you have to be involved with her. And I was always trying to get her to emote more, and she wisely paid no attention to my direction at all. So that's very good.
And Leslie has like a Elsa Lanchester kind of feel. She almost seems like a doll.
Yeah.
Where did she come from?
Well, she had been in, I think, a prior film, but no feature film experience. And actually, she was a former girlfriend of Mr. Bob Fern over there. He said, we were trying to cast around for someone to play this part. He said, I think I know somebody who might be really good for it. And then she came down. She was at the time, I think, living up in the Bay Area. She came down. And I said, wow, she just looks fantastic, So she became Lemora.
And it also has almost like an indoor set feel, where it's like a dream when they go to they get on the bus where she's getting the tickets and all that.
Right.
A bit down the art direction. How did that all come about? How did you build?
We had a terrific art director. His credit there, Sterling Frame, and he did all kinds of great stuff. It's like, well, we need a marble tabletop. Well, I don't have marble. But wait a minute, give me some feathers and some spray glue. And he takes a piece of paper and he sprays it, and he goes whoosh with the feathers and makes it look like marble. I mean, this guy was really quite accomplished. The only thing I have against him is I had a great book by Charles Adams that had all these old, weird 19th century things in it, and he completely ripped the book to pieces to put, you know, some paintings on the wall and lithographs and stuff. I finally got the book back. Anyway.
And where was it shot? These mansions?
It was shot at down in Culver City, the Inn Studios, since destroyed by fire. Not ours, we didn't set fire, but some years later it did. And then it was shot out at this in Pomona, actually. And a lot of people, when this film came out, they really did think it was shot in the Deep South, which was, I guess, kind of a tribute to the, well, maybe just because it was dark. That could have been too. So.
And as you were making it, did you follow the script very tightly, or were things left?
Well, I'll tell you, this was a horrendous shoot. I mean, I was living off Pepto-Bismol. My gut was so messed up, and it was just, I had to fire the assistant director about halfway through, and then had to find somebody else, shut down, complete it, double the budget. I think the second day of shooting, I just had to throw out all the storyboards that I had so carefully done, and just sort of shoot from the hip, although I was glad I did them. And it was our first film. You know, we didn't know so many things. In fact, we were told later, said, if you make a low-budget film, there's 3 things you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to do costume, you're not supposed to do night shooting, you're not supposed to do period, you're not supposed to do heavy makeup. We did all of them. We also invented a couple of mistakes. We made those too, and just went on and on. So, in fact, I think the lab said they had never seen so many setups in a film of that low budget before. So, I mean, I was really speeding to get this movie, you know, in cam. Really doing it as quickly as possible, and I think, unfortunately, had I more time, you know, it would have been a little more polished than it turned out to be. But anyway, I would also like to say that just thinking about the quality of the film, that you know, this DVD is just beautiful, and the DVD looks better than the release prints that when it came out, because we spent 2.5 days color correcting. So I'm very happy with the way that looks.
And Leslie, does a track on the DVD that she doing?
Yes, there's a commentary track by Bob, Leslie, and myself on the DVD, right?
That's great. We want to open up to some questions. Anyone have any right there?
Where did you score the antique vehicle?
Where did you get the antique vehicles?
Wow. That was a company in Los Angeles, but I cannot remember the name. That bus was I think it was a Rio, 1913 Rio bus that we were fortunate to get. And the other ones were more standard, but yeah, I can't remember. Places specialized in that, I just can't remember the name.
Right there.
Who was the composer? The music was interesting.
Right, that was
some stuff, I mean, like electronics and real? Or?
Yeah, well, the composer was Danny Neufeld, who is a friend of ours, both Bob and myself and some other people, and there was sort of a nucleus of people that were UCLA graduates living around Venice at that time. And I think Danny was living there, and Rosanna Norton, who did the costumes, was living there with her then husband, Bill Norton. She did some amazing stuff on the costumes. I tried to get, when she goes to the town and they're singing that song, that was really a rip-off of Lulu Waltz by the Carter family that I wanted to actually buy, but that was ridiculous. Columbia would never even, we couldn't touch it. So I just took the melody and wrote new lyrics and told Danny to make something of it, which he did great. And as far as electronic stuff, a lot of that stuff was also coming from Glenn. They did a lot of odd sound stuff, as you heard, with a very stylized monster noises and things like that, and loon cries and all that stuff.
The Full Metal Jacket sounding like the...
Yeah, exactly.